That's a good question. Romance and drama. Yes, I think that my life has always been very driven by romance. I'm a true Spaniard, I think, in that way. So I'm led by my feelings and my passions. So, and romance is not necessarily romantic love. I think it's the romance of what you want for yourself. So yeah, I always say romance. Oh, I certainly did. And you know, it wasn't just my parents, it was my tío Ramon, who was arcipreste in Spain. And so I grew up with him. And so he would be the one that would be up on the pulpit addressing the congregation. So I saw him rivet the audience with his orations. And he was a very, of course, intelligent speaker. And so I thought, wow, how marvelous that he can do that. I could never do that. And Mama is a diplomat, a very high-level diplomat, really. And so I learned from them, but I was very shy at the beginning. So now when I'm coming out of my shell, or since I came out of my shell, I think of them sort of as how they behaved in front of the public eye too. I think that's important, you know. I think the word awkward would be perfectly said. I was right out of the convent, so I was very shy and shell-shocked and not very communicative. So when I came, but I still wanted to be heard, you know. You always have you know, the seed of yourself is always in there. So when I arrived at 13 and I realized I couldn't say a word, it was a shock. It was just an absolute shock, and I thought, oh dear, these students, my fellow students, must think that I'm stupid, because there was no response. I mean, you know, and so I thought I need to fix this, and so language became my goal. I had to learn how to communicate, to let myself be heard, and that was, I think, one of that was the beginning of my transformation, I would think. Oh, I do love what I do. And I think that I'm very blessed and I'm very, very grateful to Moses Neimer for giving me this chance and for the people out here that help me and support me. So what I do is I work for and with Zoomer Media, and we are a large company in Canada. We have radio stations, we have, of course, lots of digital magazines, television, trade shows. And so I'm their support out here on the West Coast, but I work very closely with Joy TV, which is based here in the Valley. And now I have a TV show called Carmen TV. Yes, I think there's lots. But you know, I think what's beautiful about my show now is that I have a chance to showcase a lot of the people that I know and find interesting things. I've always liked to be a producer. And so now I get to bring attention to the people I think are very deserving. So of course, charitable work has always been a big part of my life. That started at home. But now I can also put them on TV, so that's really wonderful, you know. You know, involuntarily, I'm up like around 5:30, just like my brain just starts going. So I then putter around my office for a little bit, then I pack up because my office, as I said, is in Surrey, but I live downtown, so that's an hour commute. So then I'm communicating with Toronto as of 6:30 till about 10, and then I switch over to my work here in BC. And there's lots of phone calls, lots of emails, so I sit too much. I think that's the problem, is that I sit too much. And then I come home typically around 7:30, and if there's an event to go to, I do, but otherwise I'm in bed with Netflix. Don't tell anybody. Gosh, that's a very good question, and I think about that often, because I look at my cousins, and I have plenty of cousins, and most of them are married with children. Very few are professionals, but mostly they're more a traditional woman's role in that culture. And I know from an early age that that was not going to be for me. So I don't know whether I would be doing the same thing, but I can imagine I would be doing something, you know, outside of the home. The most important, gosh, you know, I go back to, you know, feeling very lucky. When I look back, and I think of what I've done, I can't even believe it's my life, because, you know, you're always moving on to, you're always focused on what you're doing now, what you're going to do next, but you never take time to reflect on your accomplishments from the past or your experiences. So I think that each new chapter is the new and the fabulous for me, but I think that is the recognition of what my parents did to pack up from Spain and bring our family here. That changed my life, and I am forever grateful for that incredible belief and gumption. Very, very, very much, very much. They all live in Spain. So as to your question earlier, I go back a lot, but obviously not enough. But when I go home, we have paella parties in our bodega, and there's like 60 people, and I cry. I'm always crying, yeah, but I love it. Listening to what people have to say, I like the discovery. I like the enthusiasm when I tell someone that we're doing a segment with them because they're so appreciative to get the story out. And the beauty of this is that you get to work with new people every day. Not at the office, but when you're on the road, when you take your show on the road, it's fabulous. Oh yes, I think that learn the language, number one. And you know, you're a new country, so don't forget your values of where you were brought up from, you know, like your family and things like that. But you have to adapt also to a new culture. I think that's very important. Keep yourself, but you're in a new place, so have fun with it. It's a world of opportunity. The streets really are paved with gold.